The marketplace of Zorath Prime was louder than a storm. Traders shouted, buyers argued. Strange creatures walked in cages. The smell of smoke and oil filled the air. In the center stood the grand auction stage, where rare items and even living beings were sold to the highest bidder. That day a new lot was brought forward. A small alien girl with silver hair and glowing blue eyes, her wrists chained with iron cuffs, her steps weak, yet her gaze stubborn. She looked too young to be here, yet the guards pushed her onto the wooden platform. The auctioneer, a tall creature with 4 arms and sharp teeth, raised his voice. Next item, found wandering in the outer ruins, believed to be the last of her kind. A cursed one, unwanted but rare, starting price, 1 credit. The crowd exploded with laughter. They could not believe it. 1 credit was the lowest price in the galaxy. People bought broken tools for more. The alien merchants slapped their knees, their voices filled with mockery. 1 credit for that thing? Not even worth half. She is weak, useless, cursed. Her people are gone, and soon she will be too. The girl stood there, her chin trembling but her eyes unbroken. She could hear every insult, every cruel laugh. She clenched her fists but said nothing. In the back of the hall among the shadows sat a human man, plain clothes. No weapons, no guards, his face calm, his eyes sharp. He listened to the laughter but did not join. He watched the girl carefully, not with disgust, not with pity, but with something else, something the others did not notice. The auctioneer cleared his throat. "Do I hear 1 credit?" he shouted almost as a joke. The crowd laughed again. "Come now, no one wants her, but rules are rules." No hand was raised. Not a single bid. The auctioneer smirked, ready to drag her away, when suddenly a voice came from the back, calm and steady. "I'll take her." The hall fell silent, the laughter stopped for a moment. All heads turned. The human stood up slowly, his hand raised, his voice clear. 1 credit, he said. The crowd erupted again, but this time louder, harsher. A human, buying that cursed thing? He must be mad. What will he do, feed her scraps? Use her as a pet? Humans are always strange. The auctioneer blinked, surprised, then shrugged. "Sold for 1 credit, he announced. Hitting the gavel, the chains were unlocked, and the girl was handed over. The human stepped forward, taking the chain in his hand, but instead of dragging her, he unlocked the shackle, tossing the chain aside. The girl stared at him, confused. "Why?" she whispered, but the man did not answer. They walked out together, the crowd still buzzing, mocking, whispering. "A waste of credits. He'll regret it." "That girl is nothing but trouble." The alien girl kept stealing glances at the human, trying to understand. No one had ever freed her chain without asking for something in return. No one had ever bought her without mocking her. She had learned long ago that kindness was only a mask for cruelty. Yet this man was silent, calm, as if buying her was the most normal thing in the world. As they left the auction house, the girl finally asked again, her voice small, "Why did you buy me?" The human paused, looking at the crowded street, then down at her, his eyes unreadable. "Because no one else would," he said softly. The answer made no sense to her. It only deepened the mystery. She lowered her head, her glowing eyes reflecting the neon lights of the marketplace. Behind them, the merchants laughed and drank, already forgetting the girl, already mocking the human. They believed the story was over, that the girl was worthless, that the human was a fool. But they were wrong, very wrong. For in the shadows of that moment, destiny had shifted, and the galaxy itself would soon learn that the auction nobody took seriously was the beginning of something far greater, something no amount of laughter could erase. The marketplace faded behind them, the noise of laughter and gossip still ringing in the girl's ears. She walked beside the human, her steps careful, her wrists sore where the cuffs had been. Freedom felt unreal, yet fear clung to her heart. The human man moved through the crowded streets of Zorath Prime with steady steps. He was not tall, not armored, not carrying any powerful weapons like other travelers, but something about him made people give space. Maybe it was his calm eyes, maybe it was the way he never hurried. The alien girl finally spoke, her voice sharp with suspicion. "Why did you buy me?" she asked again. "Do you want a servant? A slave? Do you plan to sell me again?" The human did not stop walking, his voice low but firm. "No, I do not want a servant. I do not want to sell you. I only want you safe." Safe, the word felt strange on her tongue. She almost laughed. "Safe?" she whispered. "I have never been safe, not since my people vanished." Her eyes burned as she looked at the glowing signs above the stalls. No one wants me safe, they want me gone. The human glanced at her but said nothing. His silence bothered her more than cruelty, at least cruelty she understood. They reached a small docking bay, a quiet place at the edge of the city. There a modest ship waited, old but well kept, painted with dull gray plates, no signs of luxury, no marks of a great empire, just a traveler's vessel. He opened the ramp and motioned for her to enter. The girl hesitated. Her instinct screamed that stepping inside meant trusting him. Yet she had no place else to go. No one else in the galaxy would protect her, so she followed inside. The ship felt alive with hums and soft lights, a simple cockpit, a few chairs, a narrow hallway leading to cabins, not much, but warmer than the cold auction hall. The human pointed to a small seat. "Sit, eat first," he said. He opened a container and handed her food. Not rich food, just bread like rations and water. But her stomach growled, she had been starving. She ate quickly, suspicious eyes still on him. "Why?" she asked again between bites. "Why waste your credits on me? Even if it was only one, you must have a reason." The human leaned back in his chair, folding his arms, his face unreadable. "Because no one else saw value in you," he said at last. "But I did." His words confused her even more. Value? She had been told since she was captured that she was worthless. Cursed, broken. Her kind was erased from history. Their ruins buried, their name forbidden. If she had value, why did the galaxy spit on her existence? She narrowed her glowing eyes. "If you think I have some hidden power, you are wrong. I am nothing. I cannot even protect myself," she said bitterly. The human's gaze did not change. "Maybe," he replied softly. "But maybe not." His vague answer unsettled her. She turned her head away, staring at the blinking lights of the cockpit outside. The city grew smaller as the ship lifted into the skies. The stars opened above them, endless and cold. She pressed her hand to the window, her reflection staring back at her, silver hair messy, blue eyes tired, a chain mark still red on her wrist. She thought about running, maybe stealing an escape pod. But deep inside she knew she had no place to go. No one waiting, no world to call home. The human set the course. His hands steady on the controls, he glanced at her again. "You do not trust me," he said simply. She laughed, a broken sound. "Trust? I do not know that word. I only know chains. For a long time." Silence filled the ship. Only the hum of the engine spoke. Yet in that silence something strange happened. She realized the human was not watching her like a master watches a slave. He did not demand obedience. He did not ask for thanks. He simply let her exist. Free to speak, free to sit. It was so simple. Yet it felt heavier than iron. But outside their little ship, the galaxy was not silent. Already in taverns and backrooms rumors spread. "A human bought the cursed girl," voices whispered. "The last of that doomed race," and others laughed. "He thinks she is treasure, but she will bring him ruin." Some voices did not laugh, some spoke in fear. "If she lives, if she remembers, if her power returns." The whispers turned darker. Plans were made, ships prepared, hunters readied. The girl did not know it yet, but shadows were already following them, back inside the ship. She curled up on the seat, tired eyes closing. The last thing she saw was the human still at the controls, calm, silent, unshaken, and for the first time in her life, she wondered, what if he is not lying? What if he really wants me safe? That thought, so small, so fragile, kept her awake longer than hunger ever had. The stars stretched ahead, their journey only beginning, and though the crowd at the auction mocked the human's strange choice, the galaxy itself would soon learn it was not foolishness at all, but the spark of something greater. The ship drifted quietly through the endless dark. Stars stretched across the windows like rivers of silver. Inside, the alien girl sat alone in the small cabin, her hands folded in her lap, her mind heavy with questions. The human, silent as always, guided the vessel with steady hands. He spoke little, yet his calm presence filled the space. She did not know if she hated his silence or trusted it, but she knew one thing. He was not like the others who laughed at her in the marketplace. At first, life aboard the ship felt strange. She was given food, water, even a blanket to sleep. No chains, no shouting, no commands. Still, she could not rest. She kept waiting for the moment he would reveal his true reason. No one was kind for free, not in this galaxy. One evening, as the engines hummed softly, she sat near the control room, staring at the glowing panels, her glowing blue eyes reflected in the glass. The human adjusted a switch, then asked in a calm tone, "What is your name?" The question startled her. She had not heard anyone ask in years. Most called her it. Cursed, or simply girl. She hesitated, her lips dry. I was called Lyra, she whispered, almost afraid to speak it. The human nodded once as if memorizing it. Lyra, he repeated softly and returned to the controls. Hearing her name spoken without insult made her chest ache, but she pushed the feeling down. She could not allow hope to bloom. Hope was dangerous. Days passed and small things began to happen. Lights flickered when Lyra walked by. Screens glitched when she touched them. Once, while angry, she slammed her fist on the table, and the ship's engines roared louder for a second as if they felt her rage. She noticed, and so did he. The human said nothing at first, only watched quietly, but one day he asked, "Has this always happened?" Lyra froze, her eyes wide. "No," she lied. "I am normal." Nothing more, but her voice betrayed fear. She knew the truth. Strange things had followed her since childhood. Back before her people were destroyed, her mother had warned her to hide it, to never show anyone. "They will fear you. They will hunt you." Her mother's words echoed in her memory. The human leaned forward slightly, his eyes sharp but not cruel. "Normal?" he repeated. "I don't think so." Lyra turned away, hugging her knees. "It's a curse," she whispered bitterly. "That's what they said. That's why no one wanted me. My people are gone because of it." The human's expression did not change. "A curse or a gift," he said calmly. His words struck her like lightning. No one had ever said gift, only curse. She looked at him, confused, almost angry. "You don't understand," she said. "You don't know what they did to us." Silence fell. But in that silence, she noticed something strange. He did not argue, he did not call her wrong. It felt as if he already knew something about her past. That night, Lyra lay awake, listening to the hum of the ship, her heart restless. The human slept quietly in the next cabin, but she could not close her eyes. Every time she remembered the flickering lights and the way the ship had reacted to her touch, she felt both fear and wonder. Meanwhile, beyond their little vessel, rumors grew louder across the galaxy. The story of a human buying the cursed alien girl spread faster than trade ships. Some laughed, some scoffed, but some whispered in hushed voices. "She was supposed to be destroyed," one alien whispered in a smoky tavern. "If she still lives, then her kind secret is not gone." Bounty hunters leaned closer, greedy smiles spreading. "A human cannot keep her safe. If she truly has what they say, then she is worth more than all the gold in Zorath Prime." Others shook their heads in fear. "Do not chase her, do not touch her if she awakens. None of us will be safe." Shadows began to follow, silent ships tracking, waiting. The human's decision to buy her had lit a fire in the darkness, and now predators gathered back on the ship. Lyra walked into the control room one morning, only to find the human already awake, staring at a screen filled with alerts. He shut it quickly, too quickly. "What is it?" she asked, her suspicion rising. "Nothing important," he replied calmly, but she saw the tension in his jaw. She narrowed her eyes. "You know something, don't you? You knew what I was when you bought me." Her voice shook. "Tell me the truth, why me?" The human met her glowing eyes, and for the first time his calm broke just a little. "Because the galaxy wants you forgotten," he said softly. "And I don't." The words sank deep into her heart. Confusing, terrifying, yet strangely comforting. He stood against the entire galaxy, and for what? For her, a cursed girl sold for 1 credit. Lyra looked away, her chest tight. She didn't know if he was a fool or the only person who had ever seen her real worth. But as the stars rushed past, she realized one thing: whether curse or gift, her power was growing, and soon, hiding it would be impossible. And somewhere beyond the void, hunters were already closing in, following the whispers of her hidden power. The stars outside the window stretched like silver rivers as the ship glided through the void. Inside, Lyra sat in silence, her mind heavy. The human's words echoed in her head. "Because the galaxy wants you forgotten, and I don't." What did he mean? How could a single man stand against the whole galaxy? That night, she dreamed of fire. She dreamed of her homeworld burning. She saw her people falling, their shining towers collapsing into dust. Her mother's voice crying, "Run, Lyra, hide," and then silence. Always silence. She woke with tears on her face, the ship still humming around her. The human was already awake, as if he never slept. He sat in the cockpit reading encrypted files, lines of history and reports. When he noticed her, he closed the screen quickly, but Lyra saw enough to know it was about her people. "You know," she said softly, her voice shaking. "You know who I am." The human didn't deny it. His eyes stayed calm. "Yes," he said simply. Lyra's chest tightened, anger and fear mixing. Then tell me why my people are gone. Tell me why they called us cursed. The human leaned back, his face unreadable. For a moment he was silent. Then he spoke, his voice steady. Your people were not cursed. They were feared. Lyra blinked, confused. Feared? Yes, the human said, because your kind carried something no other race had. A connection, a power older than empires. It frightened them, so they buried it. They called it a curse, they called it dangerous. But the truth was it was theirs to fear, not yours to carry. Lyra's hands trembled, her memories flashing. The lights flickering when she was angry. The machines breaking when she cried. The whispers of her mother saying she must hide. They destroyed us, she whispered. They killed us because of this? The human nodded slowly. The records say it was war. But the truth is closer to murder. Your people were hunted because they could not be controlled. Her breath caught in her throat. A wave of pain and rage spread through her. Her eyes glowing brighter than ever. The ship's lights flickered violently. The human didn't flinch, he watched calmly. You feel it, don't you? He said, It's not a curse, Lyra, it's the truth of who you are. Tears burned down her face. Then why did you buy me? If you know this, if you know what I am, then you know the hunters will come. You know the galaxy will chase me until I'm gone. The human leaned forward, his eyes firm. That is why I bought you, not to own you, but to protect you. I won't let them bury the truth again. Lyra stared at him, her heart torn between trust and disbelief. No one had ever spoken like this. No one had ever cared if she lived or died, she whispered. You are a fool. Perhaps, the human replied with a small smile. But sometimes fools are the only ones who change anything. Before Lyra could answer, alarms flashed across the cockpit. The sensors screamed, multiple ships on pursuit. Fast and armed, Lyra's blood ran cold. Hunters, she whispered, her fear stirring the ship's systems. Lights blinked. Engines surged. The human tightened his grip on the controls. They've already found us. The enemy ships appeared on the screen. Dark and sharp, painted with the marks of syndicates, bounty hunters, mercenaries, all coming for one thing. The girl who was supposed to be forgotten. The human moved fast, steering the vessel into an asteroid belt. Rocks spinning all around. Lasers firing from behind. Lyra held onto the seat, panic rising. They'll catch us, they always do. The human's voice was calm. Steady? Not this time, he said. The ship twisted through narrow gaps, stones scraping the hull. Blasters lighting the shadows. Lyra closed her eyes, wishing the hunters would vanish, and then something strange happened. The rocks ahead shifted as if pulled. 2 asteroids moved, colliding into one of the pursuing ships, crushing it in a burst of fire. Lyra gasped, her eyes glowing like fire. I didn't mean to, she whispered. The human glanced at her. You don't need to mean it, he said. It is already part of you. The hunters fell back, shocked by the sudden destruction. But more would come. The human pushed the ship harder, slipping into the shadows of space, hiding among the endless dark. When it was finally quiet again, Lyra sat trembling, her hands shaking. They will never stop, she said. They will chase us forever. The human looked at her, his voice steady. Then let them chase. We will not run forever. One day you must face them, and when that day comes, you will know you are not cursed. You are something far greater. Lyra hugged her knees, tears mixing with fear, but somewhere deep inside, a spark of strength flickered. The truth she had long buried was now awake, and the galaxy that tried to erase her would soon feel it. And in the shadows of distant worlds, leaders whispered nervously, the last of her kind lives, the human protects her. If she remembers who she is, if she learns her full power, then everything we buried will rise again. They had tried to erase her. They had tried to bury the truth. But now, with every passing day, the truth grew stronger, and the girl they called worthless was becoming the one thing they feared most. The ship floated in silence after the chase, the hull scarred with burns from blasters. The air thick with tension, Lyra sat curled in her seat, her glowing eyes dim with exhaustion, her chest heavy with guilt. She had caused the asteroid to move. She had destroyed a ship without meaning to. The human checked the controls, his voice calm as always. We need repairs, he said. We'll stop at the nearest station. Lyra hugged her knees tighter. You should leave me there, she whispered. They are after me, not you. If you stay with me, you will die. The human turned his head slightly, his eyes steady. I already chose, Lyra, he said. I will not leave you. His words struck her heart like a blade. She wanted to scream at him, to tell him he was foolish, but no sound came, only silence. Hours later, the ship docked at a small outpost hidden on the edge of a gas cloud, a place of rust and shadows, the kind of place where smugglers and drifters came to disappear. The human guided her through the narrow halls, the smell of oil and metal filling the air. Every eye turned when they entered. Whispers spread. That's her, the cursed one, the human who bought her. Some voices filled with laughter, others filled with fear. Lyra lowered her head, shame burning her cheeks. She hated those whispers. She hated those eyes. The human placed a hand lightly on her shoulder, guiding her forward without hesitation, his calm presence shielding her from the stares. They found a mechanic and arranged repairs, but trouble always followed. That night, as they rested in a rented cabin, shadows moved outside. Armored figures, bounty hunters, they had tracked her here. The door burst open, energy weapons glowing. Hand over the girl, one growled, and maybe we'll let you live. Lyra froze, fear locking her body. She had been here before, always dragged, always chained, always powerless. She waited for the human to step aside, to surrender her like everyone else would. But he didn't move. He stepped in front of her, his body shielding hers, his voice steady. You'll have to go through me first. The hunters laughed. 1 man against 5? Their weapons hummed, ready to fire. Lyra's heart pounded. She wanted to scream. Move! But no sound came. The first shot blazed, and the human leapt forward faster than she thought possible, disarming one, slamming another into the wall. His moves sharp, controlled, but there were too many. A blade slashed across his arm. Blood marked his sleeve. Lyra's fear boiled into rage. Her glowing eyes burned like fire. The walls trembled. The lights shattered. Energy rippled from her body. The hunters stumbled, their weapons shorted, sparks exploding in their hands. One tried to charge again, but the floor itself cracked. Throwing him back, Lyra gasped. Unable to control it, stop, stop, she cried. But the power poured out of her like a storm. The human turned his head, his voice calm even in the chaos. It's all right, Lyra, don't fear it, let it answer you. Her chest heaved, her hands shaking. The hunters groaned on the floor, their weapons useless, their armor scorched. She stared at her own trembling fingers. I did this, she whispered. The human nodded, blood dripping from his cut, but his eyes steady. Yes, and you saved us. She looked at him, her fear turning into something new, something she had never felt. He had stood in front of her without hesitation, and when her power erupted, he did not run. He did not call her monster, he accepted it. She rushed to his side, pressing her hands against his wound. You are hurt because of me, she said. Guilt choking her voice, he shook his head. I am hurt because I stood where I chose to stand, he said. His voice calm. And I would choose it again. Tears blurred her vision. For the first time in her life, someone had chosen her. Not for power, not for money, but because they believed she mattered. The hunters scrambled away, terrified of the girl who shook the walls. Rumors would spread again, louder than before. The cursed girl was not powerless. She was dangerous. When the room was finally quiet, Lyra sat beside the human, her head bowed, her voice soft. I don't understand you, she whispered. Everyone else would have sold me, used me, or killed me, but you protect me even when it hurts you. The human looked at her, his face calm despite the pain. Because you are not a curse, Lyra, he said. You are life, and life deserves to be protected. Her heart shook, her walls cracked, and in that moment, trust bloomed like a fragile seed. She whispered the word she thought she would never say. Friend. The human gave a small nod, no grand speech, no dramatic answer. But she saw the faintest smile touch his lips. Outside the cabin, the stars burned quietly. But the galaxy was not quiet. News already spread like wildfire. The girl lives. The cursed one is powerful. The human fights for her. Entire factions stirred, some with fear, some with greed, some with rage. But inside the little outpost cabin, Lyra felt something new. Something stronger than fear, loyalty, not forced, not demanded but chosen, and she knew, no matter how many ships came, no matter how many hunters chased, she would never leave the human side. For the first time in her life, she was not running alone, and that changed everything. The outpost was behind them now, but the echoes of what happened there traveled faster than any ship. Whispers spread through taverns, markets, and military halls. The cursed girl destroyed a squad of hunters. The human fights for her. Her power is real. On distant worlds, leaders leaned closer to their screens. their voices tense. If she lives, the balance shifts, one hissed. Her people nearly broke empires before. Even a single survivor is dangerous, another warned. Some wanted her dead, some wanted her captured. Some wanted her bent to their will, and all feared what her survival meant. Lyra did not hear these whispers directly, but she felt them. Like cold winds pressing against her chest. Every station they passed, every docking port they avoided. She felt the stares, the fear, the greed. She sat in the ship's cabin, her knees pulled close, her eyes glowing faintly. "They will never stop," she said quietly. "The more I reveal, the more they will hunt." The human adjusted the controls, his voice steady. "That was always true," he said. "The question is not if they will hunt, the question is what you will do when they find you." Lyra looked at him, her fear heavy. "I don't want to be a weapon," she whispered. "I don't want to destroy everything I touch." The human's gaze stayed firm. "Then don't," he said. "You choose what you become." "Not them." His words echoed inside her. Choice. It was a word she had never been given before. She had always been chained, dragged, mocked, called cursed. Now he spoke as if she had the power to shape her own path. But outside their little ship, the galaxy was preparing. Fleets shifted, syndicates sent hunters, governments debated, and in the shadows, ancient enemies stirred, all because of her. A girl once sold for one credit. They stopped at a hidden refueling station deep inside a gas cloud. The human worked on the ship while Lyra wandered through the dim corridors. Everywhere she walked, whispers followed. "That's her. The cursed one. Don't look at her eyes." A group of alien traitors blocked her path, their faces twisted with fear and greed. "You should not be alive," one spat. "Your kind brought ruin before. You will bring ruin again." Lyra's hands trembled, but before she could answer, the human appeared, his presence calm but sharp. "Move," he said simply, and though the traitors snarled, they stepped aside as they returned to the ship. Lyra's chest ached. "They hate me," she whispered. "They will never see me as anything else." The human stopped, his voice calm. "Then stop living for what they see. Live for what you choose." Her glowing eyes met his, and for the first time, she began to wonder if she could that night. As they drifted in the silent cloud, she asked softly, "Why are you not afraid of me?" The human looked at her, his expression calm as always. "Because I see a girl, not a curse," he said. "I see someone who deserves to decide her own fate." Lyra turned away, her heart racing. His words pressed against the walls she had built, breaking them piece by piece, but far away. On the capital world of a great empire, a council gathered, their faces grim. "We cannot allow her to rise," one declared. "Her kind nearly destroyed us centuries ago," another countered. "If she can be turned, she could be our greatest weapon." Greed clashed with fear. Armies prepared. Secret orders were given and messages spread to bounty hunters across the stars. Back on the ship, Lyra woke from another nightmare. Flames, screams, the fall of her people. She sat shaking. The human handed her water, his calm presence steadying her. "I saw it again," she whispered. "My people falling. My mother telling me to hide." Tears burned her cheeks. She was afraid too. Everyone was afraid. The human's voice was firm. "Your people did not fall because they were cursed. They fell because the galaxy was afraid of their strength. Fear is not truth, Lyra." His words pressed deep into her heart. She clenched her fists. "Then I will not run forever," she said quietly. "I am tired of hiding if they want to see me." "Then let them see." The human nodded once. No surprise in his eyes. "Then be ready because they are coming." As if his words summoned it, alarms rang. Ships appeared on the scanner, dozens of them surrounding, their signals marked with the symbols of multiple factions. They had come not as hunters but as fleets. Lyra stood frozen, her breath caught. "So many," she whispered. The human's voice stayed steady. "They will test you now. They want to know what you truly are." The girl once sold for one credit stared out at the sea of ships, her glowing eyes reflecting the endless stars, her fear still there but burning beside it. Something new resolve. The galaxy was no longer whispering. It was watching, waiting, and soon it would learn the truth of who she was. The scanners screamed with warning lights. The ship was surrounded. Fleets from different factions closed in, their dark hulls gleaming against the stars, their weapons ready. Their voices filled the comms. "Surrender the girl or be destroyed." Lyra stood near the window, her glowing eyes wide, fear coiling in her chest. So many ships, so much power. She had never felt so small. The The human adjusted the controls, his face calm. "They've come for you," he said quietly. "But they are not ready for the choice you will make." Lyra turned to him, her voice trembling. "What choice?" "I don't want this. I don't want to fight." The human's gaze stayed steady. "Then don't fight for them. Fight for yourself," he said. "Not as a weapon, not as a curse, but as who you are." Outside, a booming voice declared, "Last warning. Surrender the cursed one. The galaxy cannot afford her existence." Lyra clenched her fists, her chest burning. The old fear rose. But so did something else, something new. She was tired of being chained, tired of running, tired of hiding behind names like cursed and worthless. She stepped forward, her silver hair catching the light. Her voice rising. "No," she said. Though her voice shook, it carried through the comms. "I will not surrender. I will not be chained again." The fleets erupted with anger. Weapons charged, the sky lit with fire. Blasts roared toward their small ship. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter than ever, blue fire burning within them. She lifted her hands, her heart racing, energy rippled through the stars. The blast slowed, then bent, swirling into a storm of light. The ship shuddered. Alarms echoing, the pilots crying out in shock. Her power flowed uncontrolled, the void itself trembling. The fleets panicked, some fired wildly, some tried to retreat. The comms filled with voices. "She is too strong. We cannot contain her." "This is what we feared." The human stepped beside her, his voice steady. "Lyra, look at me," she gasped, the storm of light roaring around her, her chest aching. "I can't stop it," she cried. "I will destroy them all." His hand touched her shoulder, firm but gentle. "Then choose not to," he said. "You are not their monster, you are not their curse. You are you." Her breath shook, her tears glowed. She focused on his eyes, calm, unshaken, and for the first time she believed him. She drew the storm back, bending it into silence, the light fading, the blast dissolving into nothing. The fleets froze, their weapons dead, their ships powerless but alive. Gasps echoed across the comms. "She spared us," one whispered. "She had the power to kill us all, but she spared us." Lyra collapsed to her knees. Exhausted, the human caught her before she fell. Holding her steady, she whispered, "I didn't kill them." "No," the human said softly. "You showed them mercy," that word. Mercy burned brighter than any storm. Across the fleet silence spread. Thousands watched as the girl they mocked, the girl they hunted, the girl they called cursed, stood alive, powerful yet merciful. She had chosen not vengeance, but something greater. Whispers turned into stunned voices. Perhaps she is not a curse. Perhaps she is hope. The leaders who ordered her death sat frozen, their fear cracking, because the galaxy had seen with its own eyes. The truth could not be buried again. The human guided Lyra back into her seat, his voice steady. "They laughed when you were sold for 1 credit. They thought you worthless. But today you showed them you are priceless." Her eyes filled with tears. "Not of fear this time, but of something else. Belonging," she whispered. "And you. You gave me the chance to be more than what they called me." The human gave the smallest nod, his calm never breaking. "All I did was see you." The fleets drifted back, not daring to fire, not daring to speak. The stars held their breath, and in that silence something new was born. Lyra leaned against the window, her glowing eyes reflecting the endless void. Her voice soft. "What happens now?" The human looked out at the stars, his voice low. "Now the galaxy changes. Because of you." She closed her eyes, exhaustion pulling her down, but her lips curved in the faintest smile. For the first time in her life, she was not a curse, not a prisoner, not forgotten. She was free. The human carried her to her cabin, his step steady, his face unreadable, but deep in his calm eyes burned a quiet fire. He had bought her for 1 credit. Yet in truth, he had bought the chance to change everything. Beyond the ship, rumors spread faster than light. Songs began in hidden taverns. Stories whispered on broken stations. The girl who spared fleets. The human who stood beside her. And though many still feared, many still plotted, the seed of something new had taken root. Not chains, not curses, but hope. The galaxy laughed once when she was sold, but now it watched in silence, because the human who bought her had changed everything.